Oh, hello, YouTube. Today on the Naughty Librarian, we are going to be reviewing so many books. So here we are, it's the end of February officially, and I have been reading books since January, and I haven't, reviewed any of them yet. So let's just get into all of the books I've read recently. And overall, I've got to say, they're all fantasy paranormal for the most part. I think there's maybe only like 1.5 books that don't fit that criteria. I have been vibing with paranormal stories. I don't know what it was in January. It just makes me want paranormal romance. Maybe it's just me, but every January, that's what I get the craving for. So let's just dive in. These are all the books I have been reading since the beginning of the year, basically. Starting things off with a book I have already reviewed, actually, which is Servant of the Bones by Anne Rice. I have a full recap video out on this already, so you can check that out if you want to see what happened in it. I don't know what the deal was with this book. It just was a pain to read. And it might just be me. I don't know. I read like half of it in November and I didn't finish it until January because I just couldn't make myself read the second half of the book. I don't know. It's not that it's like so unusual from her normal writing style, from her normal like characters she makes up. It's a very standard Anne Rice book. I just was not feeling it. I don't know. I don't have like a reason why besides vibes. But it's kind of like ancient Babylonia and Jewish mysticism. And also there's a genie. And I do know the correct term would be jinn, but in the book they refer to him as a genie. So I'm going with that because that is how the book calls it. And then it's like this guy, his name is Azrael, and he's a genie, and it's his story. And then he gets to like 90s New York and he's like trying to solve a murder and take down a cult. So I'm making it sound more exciting than it actually ended up being. But I don't know, it's fine, I guess. I think it's just, this is a me problem, not necessarily the book's problem, that I just was like not vibing with it. But whatever, I read it and I have a whole recap video out. So if you want to see what actually happened in it, you can check that out. Moving on, why don't we just talk about the one book I read that wasn't like fantasy related at all, and that is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. And you know what? Surprise hit for me. Like, I went into this not really knowing what to expect. I know it was like kind of holiday related. It's not necessarily a Christmas story, more so it's a story that takes place at Christmas. And they have these two rival, I would say, mystery thriller authors. They both get invited to like, you know, the remote house of one of the most iconic mystery writers, and then they all have to solve like a closed door mystery together. It's very kind of Knives Out, but like, what if it was also a rom-com? So if you think that sounds great, check it out. I was actually pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed the writing here. I know Ali Carter has written a lot of books. I primarily knew Ali Carter from like her YA fare, so I wasn't sure how like an adult book was gonna go. Turns out kind of really fun. I think it's well plotted. The characters were nice. There are issues with it. Yeah, it's not a perfect book, but like I had a good time reading this. I would read another like mystery thriller by Ali Carter, and she does have a few out. So I think the sense of humor is fun. I think it's well plotted, well paced, and you know, it's got a little romance in it. Why not? It's not particularly spicy, I'd say. It's more of like a insinuation of spice. So if you want a low spice, kind of cute rom-com mystery, murder mystery, allegedly, like this might be fun for you. So check it out if that seems like your vibe. All right, next category is complete fantasy. This is a fantasy land, a fantasy world. These are fantasies taking place in it. I finally got around to reading Violet Thistlethwaite is Not a Villain Anymore by Emily Krempholtz. And I've heard mixed reviews on it, so I wanted to see how I would like it. And in the end, like, it was fine. Like, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. Overall, it was an enjoyable book, but kind of nothing to write home about, if that makes any sense. So I do think this is actually a debut as well. So maybe this author just needs a little warm-up time. I'm not sure. But basic gist here, Violet Thistlethwaite. She was like this witch that worked for a supervillain, essentially. And she was like the most feared witch in all the land. She would like blight your farms and stuff, you know, like legendary witch. But she didn't really want to be evil. And then eventually she gets the chance to stop being evil, and she's like, I just want to live like a normal life. So she comes down to this town and is trying to just open a flower shop, you know, something light and normal and fun. However, eventually her past does catch up with her, and she's going to have to save the day. And the concept is really fun. I like it a lot, but the thing is, I felt like the humor was kind of PG rated in a way, considering this is an adult romance and like there is smutty times in it. I would say light on the smut-o-meter. Still, it is an adult romance, and I just felt like the humor was kind of not edgy enough. I feel like it just needed more contrast, because this is kind of very cutesy, like cozy fantasy with a dash of spice. So if that's your vibe, I think you would get really into it. It's enjoyable at the very least. If it's not great, at least it's fun. But yeah, I just wish it had like maybe a little bit more edge to it. Like I think a little bit more sarcasm, maybe. I don't know. I just feel like it needed like a little to like push it over into like really good. But as is, it's fine. It's like 3.5 stars. It was fine to read. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just was fun. I also read Rings of Fate by Melissa De La Cruz, and I've read a lot of things by Melissa De La Cruz. And the thing about her books for me is that I always enjoy them. I think they're well written and they're well paced. And like obviously Melissa De La Cruz has written a lot of books at this point. She knows what she's doing. And I know I'm going to have a good time with it, but usually they're never like my favorite book, if that makes any sense. Like I like them just fine, but it's not a book I rant and rave about and like need to tell everybody the minute I finish reading it how good it was. It was just like, yeah, that was a good book. And then I move on with my life. I don't know how else to explain it besides that. But Rings of Fate, it's a fantasy land. There is a prince who is looking for a bride, but really that is a ruse so he could find his way into the wastes to be able to find a witch to help him solve his problem, his magical problem. And then we have a barmaid who he meets along the way, and then they kind of have to team up on this adventure. And the problem I have with Violet Thistlethwaite not having enough edge was the complete opposite here, because this one has so much sarcasm. So I did really laugh a lot at this. I loved Erin, the barmaid. She has just the right amount of sass in her, because she's seen a lot of shit. She's a barmaid, you know? Like, for her to just be like Mary Sueing around wouldn't make sense. Erin having a bit of a cynical outlook on things made the story work better. And then, you know, a cynical exterior, kind of warm, gooey inside. So she was like a fun character to like read along with. I did like her a lot. And Prince Deaton is, he's just giving himbo energy, but like in an endearing way. He's giving golden retriever, I guess. He's a bit of a himbo, but like actually kind of brave at times. So overall, I did really like this. I thought it was fun. It was compelling. I do think there's going to be more books in this series. However, this first book is a complete story on its own. So, you know, if you'd never read on in the series, you would still feel like the story has been completed. There is more story to tell that they could tell, but as is, I feel like if I don't read on, I'm not going to be upset. So thank goodness this is a complete story. And, you know, there's a romance between them. They have to fight, you know, eldritch terrors of the night in it. There's a lot of action. And overall, it's like a road trip story about, you know, trying to save the world, essentially. So in the end, I think I gave it 4 stars. I liked it just fine. I didn't love it, but like this was a solid book. I like it. I had a good time with it. Next category is paranormal romance, and I have a lot more than just one book. They're just all ebooks, so I only have one book physically with me. Speaking of which, let's start with my one physical book I have in front of me, which is Ghost Business by Jen DeLuca. This is a sequel in the Boneyard Key series. I love this series intensely. It's so fun. It takes place in this small kind of Florida town called Boneyard Key, and it's haunted as shit. and not necessarily like scarily haunted. It's more just like there's ghosts around and like they'll pass you the salt at the table, you know? Like they're like friendly ghosts. And hot damn, are there a lot of them in this town. And in this one, we're following Sophie and Tristan. Sophie, she's a local. She runs a ghost tour in the town. She's like a history nerd. And her ghost tour is very accurate because she knows who the ghosts are. Like these are real ghosts. She's met them. And then in comes Tristan. He's a trust fund kid. He has been trying to start his own ghost tour business, but mind you, he doesn't believe in ghosts. He's making shit up. He's making this like a fun, like tourist trap ghost tour thing. And of course, they're going to butt heads because she's like, oh my God, why are you lying? And like, la la la. And they're kind of start to be enemies. And eventually they turn into rivals to friends to lovers. And there's like a business aspect of it where they're both trying to run rival businesses and see who wins, like who's the better ghost tour at the end of summer or whatever. And also, it's just like kind of a sweet romance between these two people who are kind of nerds. So, yeah, Boneyard Key. Tons of ghosts, really endearing close friendships throughout the town. I think there will be more books in this series. It is an episodic romance series, so each book is going to be a new couple. It's not like a follow along. You could just pick this one up randomly and be fine. I do think the first book of the series is also very good, so check that one out if you're interested. But this one, it's just fun. It's a sweet romance with like ghosts and stuff, you know? It's fun. It's a rom-com. I also read like 4 books by Juliet Cross. I finished off her like Savoy Witch series because it took me a year to finish it. I don't know why. I just paused and hadn't started it up again since last January. So this January, I was like, might as well finish the series. Let's go. So starting things off, I have Always Practice Safe Hex. This is Livy, our kind of gothy, kind of influencer-esque Savoy witch sister, and she gets a hot, mysterious Grim Reaper boyfriend. And this book in particular, I'm just going to point out, you may want to check trigger warnings before reading because there is some very intense moments in this one. A lot of the other books have been fairly lighthearted. I mean, there's been like kidnappings and action and all that kind of stuff, but this one in particular, oh boy, does it take a hard turn to like some dangerous topics. So check trigger warnings if you are sensitive, especially with SA. There is some intense content in this book. But besides the intense content, I really, really, really loved this book. It was like funny and oh my gosh, was it smutty. If you want some monster fuckery, this one's gonna give it to you. And also it's the epitome of one of my favorite tropes, which is the, oh no, you fucked up. You showed me human kindness. I'm your problem forever now. That trope, I don't know if there's a word for it, but that's the vibe, and that's in this book, because we are our broody, moody Grim Reaper, and he's like never had a family, and all of a sudden he's getting invited into this giant-ass family of witches, and he's like, oh no, my heart has grown 3 sizes too big. So I love that as a trope. It's my favorite. So overall, this was a really fun one. They get into some like big magic. Good times. Then I continued on to the series with Resting Witch Face, and this one is the oldest Savoy sister, Jules. She's a witch. She's a really powerful witch, and she has had an off-again, on-again, long-term romance thing with like the vampire king of New Orleans, essentially. And they were together in the past. They broke up. And it's been very tense and awkward between them for like 10 fucking years. And here we are now, finally their paths have to intertwine again, and like with spicy results. Like obviously they're gonna get back together. Let's be real. We all know that going in. But we've been wanting it for so long. They're finally getting back together. They do have their own like vampire rules and logic and stuff that I don't always see in other books, and I actually really like how they handle vampires and their magic and lore in this series because it makes a lot of sense to me. So yeah, a witch and a vampire getting back together, second chance romance. I really enjoyed it. It has a very dramatic ending. Oh my goodness gracious. So it really picks up steam towards the end. And I don't necessarily mean steam like spice, but like steam like, oh my god, there's a lot of knives. So really fun in the end. And the last book of the Savoy Sister series, Grim and Barrett. And this is, I believe, our youngest Savoy sister. She is like the light and sunshine witch of the world. She's like la la la. She's very like sweet and bubbly and cute. And of course, she has to fall in love with the most moody, broody fucking Grim Reaper guy you've ever met in your life. And he's actually cousins to that other Grim Reaper we read about a couple books ago. And in this book in particular, they're trying to solve a murder because someone's trying to frame Grim Reaper's dad for murder, and they're like, okay, well, we need to figure out who actually did it. It's like a whole kind of mystery thing. Did I spot the killer immediately? Kinda, yeah, but that's a me problem because I am really good at finding killers in books. It's a secret talent of mine at this point. Like, I'm very good at picking out the killer. So, yeah, I think it was fun, although I guess the killer, I don't know if everyone else would. And in general, I liked it a lot. It does get very, very spicy. It felt almost weird that it was so spicy at times because this character is such a sunshine and delight. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you were a dirty birdie. Like, so it's very like her personality is very juxtaposed between two things. I thought it was going to be my favorite of the series, but it didn't end up being my favorite of the series. I'm just going to say it. But I did enjoy it. It was fun. It's funny. It's a rom-com, New Orleans, witches and Grim Reapers, murder mystery. And then the thing is about the Savoy Sisters series, there's a spin-off now with like all of the offspring of these like couples because they've had a lot of babies. And we have Rebel Without Claws, which is like the spin-off, the first book of the spin-off series. I haven't heard of any more books yet. I know there will be. I'm waiting for an announcement because I'm going to pre-order them immediately. So this one, Good Girl Witch, Bad Boy Werewolf. We're kind of going back to the roots of the series, the very first book of the series, Wolf Gone Wild. Similar trope, and now we're dealing with their daughter. So I'm like, wow, history's repeating itself. But you have the good girl daughter, she's a witch. And then like MMA fighter werewolf boy from the wrong side of the tracks. And they get together. And I do think their romance with each other is very sweet. And I did enjoy the ending. There's a lot of like hurdles they have to face together. And also some evil people trying to keep them apart get their ass served to them. So I love a good little bit of revenge in a story. Overall, it wasn't like the best outing for the beginning of a spinoff, but it had all the characters I already knew in it, and they're all like making cameos. So it's kind of fun to see like the next generation of, and it was funny and smutty in a paranormal romance. Like it gave me everything I wanted out of it. It wasn't the best one, no, but it was fun. And last up in my paranormal wrap up, I have The Grim Reaper's Lawyer by May Michelle. And in the end, I think I gave it like 2.5 stars if I'm being honest. However, I also got to support an indie author by reading this. In the end, did I love this book? Kinda not. I didn't particularly think it was amazing, but I mean, I read the whole thing and I didn't hate it at the end. And hey, I got to support an indie author. So like, it was doing things for me, like on a spiritual level, I guess. I don't know. It was fine. It's basically, there's this woman, she's a lawyer, she dies, she goes to like the afterlife, and then she has to be the Grim Reaper's lawyer, even though she hates being a lawyer. It's like a whole thing. And I guess my main issue with it is that there are just glaring plot holes at points where I'm just like, ooh, I wish you had a better editor. They would have caught that kind of a thing. But I don't know. I think the idea is fun, where it's like, oh, I'm the afterlife and I have to like help solve like a crime that had happened. Who did it? You know, a mystery. And also like kind of repeating things in the story that makes me think like our main character might actually be a functional alcoholic that we never talk about in the book, because this lady has a drink the first moment she wakes up in the day, every day. And then every time she can have a drink, at any time she has a drink. And I'm like, why is no one pointing out that she's a functional alcoholic? But anyway, that's something I think a better editor might have caught and be like, hey, maybe have her drink like something else every once in a while besides alcohol. So I don't know. There's just like some issues with it. But concept wise, I think it's fun. I just think it needs a bit more of editorial work, and it could have been like really punched up and really, really strong. But as is, I gave it like 2.5 stars. I rounded up to 3 because like I don't hate this and I don't love this. It was fine. It just is. I don't know. It was fine. I think the ending though, she had a hook at the end because there is a sequel of this, and the way she ended book 1, I was like, well, I kind of want to know what happens now for book 2. But I'm like, wait, I didn't like book 1 that much. Why do I want book 2? So, I mean, credit where credit's due. Hot damn, did she write a good ending? So, there is that. But, yeah, I mean, it's fine. I didn't love it. I don't hate it. It's fine. Last category is horror. And I was just repeating authors back to back. So, I read not 1, but 2 books by Rachel Harrison. Rachel Harrison is gonna be a problem for me because like I am now obsessed with all of her books. I cannot stop reading them. I have been collecting all of her back catalog. Like I can't stop. They're so fucking good. And so let's just start with So Thirsty because I read this one first of the 2 more I've read. And this made my best books of 2025 list, and I haven't really reviewed it by itself yet, so I wanted to give it its own like moment. And this is like a woman going through her millennial midlife crisis like we all are right now. And then she gets turned into a vampire on top of it. And so it's really more about female friendship. It's about choosing your own path in life outside of societal expectations, and also learning to love yourself and all of your flaws. So it is about like vampires and stuff, but it's also about bigger topics, and they're using like a vampire story to explore that. Just be aware that I've made it sound like it's just kind of a comedy or something. And at best, it's a dark comedy because this is almost cartoonishly violent at times. Just be aware, this is a vampire story, and we're not talking gentle, sexy ones. We're talking like, oh my gosh, you bit a lady's face off. Like, these are scary vampires, and there's a lot of gore involved. So it's definitely a horror book, but it's also a dark comedy. So if you want like gallows humor, you want like interesting main characters, you want like a good bloody vampire time, and also you want to get into like millennial midlife crisis territory, this is going to be the book for you. I'm obsessed with it. Also by Rachel Harrison, I read Such Sharp Teeth, and this one is her werewolf take. Obviously, I loved it. I tabbed the heck out of it. And this book made me realize when I was reading it that so many werewolf stories in media and movies and books and stuff are usually told from a male perspective. Like there are a few like female-centric werewolf stories, but very few of them. And this one in particular is a very like female perspective on the werewolf trope, where it's more so like something has been done to your body against your will, and now you have to live with that forever. And it's kind of always something happening to your body that you have no control over. So knowing that from a female point of view, it really kind of changes the equation a lot. It hits a little different. So this book, oh boy, it's a slow start. Like the first 50 pages, I was like, oh, maybe this is not a hit. And I was worried. And after those first 50 pages, hot damn did it pick up. So like, just keep going. It's a rocky start, but as soon as it gets moving, hot damn, does this get really good and really interesting. It dives into more psychological effects of werewolves. You know, it's using like werewolves as a medium to tell a story that, you know, hits really different for women in general. So yeah, loved it. Surprisingly, I was worried at first, but by the end, I'm obsessed with it. And again, dark comedy. Like there's very, very funny moments in this, and there's also very dark moments in this. So it's more of a matter of enjoying gallows humor. It gets gory at times. Like, this is definitely a horror novel. I don't want to like play it off like, oh, it's just like a paranormal romance. No, no, no. This is horror. This is a horror book. That being said, I absolutely loved it in the end. I think it's really interesting. The werewolf story from a female perspective, it really hits different. So yeah, Rachel Harrison, I am obsessed with her right now. I have already pre-ordered her book that's coming out this year. I'm obsessed with her books. It's a problem for me at this point. Last up, I read the duology of Book of Night and Thief of Night by Holly Black. Now, I already read Book of Night previously, and I think it made my best books of the year list when it came out, which was in 2022, and this came out in 2025, so it was quite the gap in between books 1 and 2. So I felt I needed to reread book 1 because I did not remember enough of the details solidly before I read the sequel. But I really enjoy the magic system in this series. It's like shadow magic, and people can use their shadows to do things as an extension of them, or there is a whole shadow black market where you can steal shadows and then get an extra one or something. There's a lot of magic going on here, and we're mainly following Charlie. She is a woman with a dangerous past. She grew up as a con artist since she was like 12. She's been conning people. She got out of the game though. She's just trying to live her life and like help her sister have a better life, that whole thing. But you know, as soon as you get out, they draw you back in. And in order to like save both herself and the people she loves, she has to get pulled back into this like big conspiracy she has to solve. And of course, she's smart, she's crafty, she's an ex-con woman. I really like her. I think upon the reread of this, I don't know, maybe it was just like the vibes I was in life, where it felt like it drug a little bit more than the first time I read it when I absolutely loved it. I still love it. It's just I didn't like it as much as the first time I read it. So I gave it 4 stars in the end, but it did prime my way to read Thief of Night, which is the sequel. It's a duology. They're both out now, so if you want to read it, you can dive right on in. And I'm going to try my best not to spoil things because there's things that happen at the end of Book of Night that are exactly what this whole book is about. So we have Charlie, and she has her love interest, her boyfriend or whatever, and they are now like shadow tied to each other for reasons. I don't want to explain more because literally if I explain any of the setup to this book, it's going to spoil book 1. I'm sorry. But in the end, I really did enjoy this one. It just kind of expand the world of shadow magic users and like their larger operation, and the stakes are higher. Definitely more physically dangerous than book 1 was. And that's all I can say. I think it has a really, really great ending though. Like, if you like the ending of the movie Fight Club, oh my gosh, you're gonna love the fucking ending of this book. That's all I'm gonna say. That's the most spoilery I'm gonna get, but overall, I really enjoy the series. Oh, all right. So that was like a ton of books I've read in 2 months. Doing this every other week thing with like YouTube has helped me enjoy reading more. Before I felt I was trying to just pound back books for the sake of it, so for content, and I don't know. It was a big hot mess. I am taking a bit of a step back this year, as you guys have noticed. And honestly, it's made me like reading more. So I think this was like a good idea because, oh my gosh, did I get a lot more reading done than I usually do. So I'm very proud of myself. Let me know in the comments down below. I don't know, what's a book you've read so far this year that you've absolutely loved? Or what's a new author that you're obsessed with? 2 questions. Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. If you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And if you want cool exclusive content, including early access to videos and a book club, you can consider becoming a channel member or a patron. Links for that are in the description down below. And on that note, I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.